sure I'm having a hard time figuring out how to set up the camera so that I look not like a golem, but I guess that just tells me something about myself. Um, I'm feeling pretty good right now because my boss and I just had the video chat version of this group that she goes to with other disabled people and their staff and families. This is our second time having that, and I think she likes it, and I think most of the other people like it, so it's just a really nice thing, and it definitely makes me feel like so much better and more normal, so much better than I felt earlier today. I guess the biggest problem that I've been having lately, which just really puts things into perspective, I think, because this is a really serious, severe problem, is that I've been having fights with people on the internet a lot. And it's been making me mad because I think that they're wrong. But I also worry that maybe I'm wrong and terrible. I guess the thing is, like, as somebody that is quite good at getting in fights with people on the internet and has had like horrible internet nemesises and like got into fights with whole forums and stuff since I was about 12 or 13. Basically up until this point, at least when things got really bad, I could go to work or go out or do something else, but that isn't the case now, so it's really just running away with me. One thing that I'm kind of fussy in particular about doing, because it really helps me, is not using browsers on my phone. Like, the only kind of internet apps that I use are like email and YouTube, and so I can't really go around and just like read websites. So that means like even if I'm getting into a lot of drama and I can't stop looking at it, like during the day when I go to work and I'm out and about, I can't really look at it on my phone that easily without like actually having to go into the app store and like install a browser. So that really helps me, but I can't do that because I just have my computer at work and I can just go on it and enjoy my internet drama. So my latest drama, and I think it's a little awkward to share this because I'm not sure in a week or two whether I'm going to realize that I was actually wrong and I was espousing like horrible ideas. But on this one forum that I go on, people have gotten really obsessed with kind of debating like really, really fine points of social distancing. And basically one of the big things people have been arguing about a lot is if you live alone and you have a friend or a boyfriend or girlfriend who also lives alone, is it okay to go over to each other's house? Or is that wrong? Like, I think part of the reason it's like so easy to get like kind of spiraled up in this stuff is because if you have like any problems with like scrupulous mental illness type stuff, or even if you don't, like if you're sort of used to getting into kind of like an ethics spiral, I mean, this is a nightmare. Like the fact that you could do like tons of harm to tons of people that you don't even know just by doing normal everyday things that like you would usually think are good things to do. Like the fact that that's true is like so nightmarish, and I think it's really, if you have problems with like compulsiveness and like, or I don't know, depression, I feel like this can feed into lots of different mental illnesses. I mean, the truth is we are like all having to make our lives worse and like deny ourselves things in order to not harm other people. And so I guess it's just kind of very scary and overwhelming because I think something that like normally a person would only think in the throngs of like a really extreme depressive episode, you know, like, oh, I don't deserve to eat, I don't deserve to see other people, I don't deserve to go outside, I'm vile, or whatever. Like, that's like somewhat close to how things actually are, because it's actually like, yep, like it actually could be a horrible thing to do to just go to the movies or just go out for a drink. Like, that could be horrible in its effects on other people. Yeah. So anyway, I was getting in an argument because I was basically saying like, hey, I'm lucky that I'm staying with people, but if you're by yourself or if you have like somebody really close to you that you don't live with, like it isn't that, you know, I mean, the things that they're cracking down on the most are like classes and work and like group activities and a lot of the stuff that the governor of New York, but also I think California and other places have complained about, is when also our mayor of San Francisco, I think, is going to make things a bit more strict in terms of like what people are allowed to go out and do, because of her feeling that people in the parks, when they go to the park, are too close to each other. So I think she's going to make a rule that you can only go to parks that are near your house and you can't travel to other parks, which is going to kind of suck for us because I don't know how accessible the parks like really close to us are, but I can sort of understand it. But anyway, I feel like when I've seen officials complaining about that stuff, it is stuff like people playing basketball in the park and like groups of people like having a party in the park and stuff like that. Not people going to like visit their partner's house or things like that that might technically be against the rules. But I don't know, I guess it's just like some of these people seem really, it's that I've also seen people who live on their own being quite hopeless and depressed about the possibility that like this could go on for months and that they won't be able to see friends or partners or have like any social contact with anybody. And I'm just like not in that position. And I think a lot of the stuff about this is kind of feels like it's aimed at people who are in a family. I don't know if that's true, but that's just kind of how it feels. It feels like a lot of it is like aimed at people who live with their partner and have kids, and like there's a lot of, or just live with a partner, there's a lot of difficult aspects of like particularly having a kid, of course, but like I mean I can't imagine what it's like to be trying to take care of a kid right now. But that does mean that you're not as like totally isolated as you are if you live by yourself, and or if your partner doesn't live with you. So I guess I just wish that, I feel like those are circumstances where when they say you should stay home as much as possible, I feel like there's some legitimate wiggle room if you want to see like one person and both people are self-isolating. Because the thing is, we don't really know, it's possible that like people, I mean, we know that people can get it in ways that seem really relatively safe. Like just if you go somewhere by yourself and you just touch things that other people have touched, you could potentially get it and you could pass it on the same way. It's not as likely as if somebody coughs on you or you cough on somebody, but it's still possible. And so that means that like a lot of things that you would think are safe aren't really super safe. And even if you isolate yourself from other people, like just going to places where other people have been could be dangerous for you and them. And so like you can't be sure that anybody's completely safe, but I guess I just think that it's a relatively low risk if people are self-isolating and two people want to visit with each other. I don't know, I might end up deleting this video because like I feel like in a week or two like it could turn out that like me saying this is horrible, and like I would feel horrible if I like contributed to anybody doing anything unsafe. And like for the record, I don't think anyone should do this really if you can help it, and I think the majority of people don't need to do this. But like if I see somebody who seems like they're like in despair at the possibility of being completely alone for months, then like I feel like there's not that much risk, not as much risk, but I also feel weird and bad saying this. On the other hand, like, this whole situation is so awful, and all of the big things in life kind of are gone for safety. And so I guess I do think like people kind of picking in on these like really tiny things, and the way people kind of are already wanting to like judge their neighbors for like, I don't know, their kids being out too much or whatever. Sorry, it's actually time for dinner, so I probably shouldn't be vlogging. I just wanted to finish saying my opinions, but then I got really worried that after I post this, people are gonna comment and be like, this is actually like a horrible thing for you to say. So it's not like I'm saying most people should do this. I think like people should stay in as much as they can. I just don't think that we necessarily need to like nitpick like small, fairly low risk social activities that other people do, given how awful life is kind of gonna be for all of us. Anyway, that's what I think.